Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number one, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior and Arwin. How are you both doing, gentlemen? Just lots of heavy breathing.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, Arwin.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, doing much better.
I was just getting aroused by the heavy breathing.
Me too. Very sexy.
I read a really interesting comment very early on here in chat. Thought it was noteworthy. Hey, Nathan, do you hire gays to troll the channel?
Do I hire what?
Yeah, that's what A4 said here. He said Nathan
gays?
hires
homosexuals. No, I don't hire any homosexuals to troll the chat. Just
sorry.
No. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. But hey, how much did you actually catch with all that super chat yesterday? That was pretty remarkable.
It's like over $90 in drips and drabs. One guy donated $50 to my super chat. I was like, wow, thank you so much. Very handy. I'm poor at the moment. Great.
And the other guy just kept on pumping it in. Also, it was the same guy, I think.
Yeah, it was all because there was somebody complaining in chat. So if anybody wants to troll the super chat, we need more drugs, hookers, and cocaine. And rum.
Cocaine. You need more booze, hookers, and drugs.
Yeah.
So hit the super chat. That's all lies. We don't do any of those things. I don't even drink.
No, we don't.
So you didn't use the super chat money for that, Nathan?
No, definitely not. So, yeah,
right, I'm going to make an appeal. Oh, hang on. Is the link up publicly yet?
Good job you asked. No, it isn't. It will be in 10 seconds.
Don't put it out just yet, Nate.
Oh, okay. Literally seconds away from putting it out.
Huh?
I was seconds away from putting it out, but go on.
No, don't do it just yet, because I want to. While Ranty's not in, is he?
No.
Okay. While Ranty's not here, I want to address something that pisses me off. I'll be honest. I rage quit yesterday because I was talking to a brick wall, and when Rumpus came in, I just thought I'm not talking to a brick wall and Rumpus because that's just too much for me to handle. And the brick wall I was talking to was this concept of up and down. Now, obviously, me and Nathan don't agree with this. Me and Nathan do disagree on this.
Not anymore.
And it was because I couldn't present my views in a way that was clear enough for it to be understood. Now, I've run it by 2 or 3 people now. And I'm going to put it out there, and I want someone to tell me why it's wrong, because this concept of up and down with regards to the direction of gravity is nonsense. And I'm going to show why. And I've run it by three people now, and I'm happy to go with it because I want somebody to show me where it's going wrong, because this, to me, is what density and buoyancy actually is. Nathan, would you share my screen, please?
Certainly, sir.
I've picked this good-looking chap as an example. He's a ginger, but we'll not hold it against him. So if you let me know when we're good.
Yeah, you're up.
And what I'll do is I'll use Arwin as a guinea pig, given that he's not seen this. You've not told him anything about this, Nath.
Okay.
Is it the exact example yesterday?
But I'd be happy to challenge you on this, because I am also actually in disagreement with you.
That's great. That's what I need. This is what I want. This is where I want to go.
Is it?
All right.
Just before you do it, though, is it the exact same thing you presented to me?
No, it's got an extra point to it, an extra element, which is to do with this bit.
Hello, Billy Sunday. How you doing? Good to have you.
Hey, cool, man.
Hey, Billy. Can you say hello?
Yeah, he's there. I can see him.
Right, go ahead,
Maybe-
Anthony. If you can listen up, Billy, you might want to put your comments in at the end as well.
Okay. Right, so me and Arwin, this is a thought exercise. You've not told him anything about this, Nath, no?
He just said no.
Right.
No.
So this is a thought exercise. There's no trips. There's no trip ups here. There's no gotchas. It's just literally exercise your mind. Now imagine that this good-looking chap is Arwin. Imagine that Arwin gets on a plane with not a plane, a rocket with me and Arwin. We both go on the rocket and we fly off to an unknown planet. We call it Arwin's planet. Okay. Nobody knows what this so-called gravitational pull is, and we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we'll be able to jump over buildings because the gravity is less, or we don't know whether we will even be able to walk because we may be reduced to crawl because the gravity may be that strong. We don't know what to do. Now, the point of the experiment is to think what's going to happen to this ball. So me and Arwin jump on the shuttle, where we land on said planet, and we have the ball in our hand. And the point of the exercise is to think about what's going to happen to the ball, okay? And we're going to demonstrate this with something called relativity. Now, it's going to be 3 numbers that are relative to themselves, and based on 3 numbers, we'll decide what happens to the ball. Now, Arwin, I want you to think of 2 consecutive numbers between 1 and 100. Any 2 numbers, it doesn't matter what. Just pick 2 numbers between 1 and 100.
Okay, I'm very confused so far, but sure.
Okay. Just pick a number between 1 and 100.
Oh, I must mention them, or are you going to guess them?
Yeah. Tell me what number you pick.
What? You can't even read my mind? What is this?
No, that's
What kind of magic
That
trick
was
is
a
this? Come on.
magician's trick.
No, it's a different show, that one.
All right. Let's see.
30 seconds on the clock, Arwin. Just
Yeah.
It's not a trick question.
All right. And 30,
Okay, so we'll go with 30, and then do you want 31 or 29?
72.
No, they've got to be consecutive. So you got either 29 or 31.
Okay. Sure. 31.
31. Right. So we get off the shuttle and we don't know what we get off the landing pod, and we're now on said planet, and we don't know what the ball's going to do because we don't know what the relative state of the ball is to the environment that we're in. So the question becomes, if I give you the value of the ball relative to the environment it's in, you can tell me what the ball's going to do. Is the ball going to go to the floor, or is the ball going to go up? So we'll start with the first example. The value of the ball relative to the environment it's in is 11. So what is the ball going to do in this example? What's the ball going to do, Arwin? Is the ball going to go up, down, or is it going to stay in its position?
That depends on if there is any gravity present. You basically assumed there was, so it should go up.
This is
in a non-centrifugal situation.
Yeah, these are the gravitational values to do with relativity. So the gravitational numbers that we talk about on this planet, we've got 30, which denotes up. We've got 31 that denotes down, and the value of the ball is 11.
I'm gonna take the numbers in basically in density in this case.
Okay, whatever.
You can call it what
you
you
can
like.
call it Arwin's units. It doesn't matter what the unit is. These 3 numbers are relative to themselves, and we're on this new planet that we have no idea what the gravity's like. And we know that we know that up is going to be represented by a value of 30, and down is going to be a value of 31. But the ball is 11. So what's the ball going to do, Arwin?
Wait, this is in the assumption that there is an atmosphere, right? The 30 and 31 is atmosphere?
Yeah, look at his happy face.
All right, then it should go up.
Correct. Now, I'm going to change the value on the ball. And the ball's now going to be a value of 65. What's the ball going to do?
It's going to go down.
It's going to go down, correct.
It's gonna
now, what happens if the ball weighs 30.9? Oops. Do that properly. Let's see what happens if the ball's value is now 30.9. What's it going to do?
It's going to go down very slowly.
Correct. And it'll settle just above the 31 value, because if it was 30.5, it would stay in its position and it wouldn't move. But if it's 30.9, it's not quite got to the point where it's going to go down. It's going to sit to the point just above that 31, and it'll equilibralize there. It'll stay there. And equally, if it was 30.1, the ball will naturally rise up, but it won't go beyond 30 because its value is greater than 30, and it'll just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we take this a stage further,
this is a perfect demonstration of the workings of buoyancy.
Correct.
That you're doing now.
And notice that there's no gravitational constant in it. There's no little g.
No, absolutely not.
No.
It's not necessary.
So in this instance, we have a ping pong ball, I think that is, or some kind of ball. We'll call it a ping pong ball. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's something in the middle there, 5. And then this color, 6. Then there's a dice at 7. Then that looks like milk, 8, 9.
I wouldn't drink that.
11. There's 12 variables there of different layers of substance. Agreed? Now,
If you say so.
sure, I think there's 12. There might be 13. I might have missed one, but I think there's 12. There might be something in the middle here, but it doesn't matter. The point, there's some sweet corn looks like as well. But the main things that we can see are all variables, right? They're all different layers, different relative values, okay?
Okay.
So if there's 11 of them, we'll just take some values and we'll go with, let's say, 70. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. You can start with any valuables you want, any values that you want. But we'll start with, say, 70. And relative to the environment that these objects are in, we'll give the ball a value of 70, okay? And then we'll give, let's go back to the text tool. Yeah. So this screw down at the bottom, we'll give this a value of, say, 135, just for demonstration's sake. That's the screw. And then the dice that's in the middle here, we'll give that a value of, well, what do you think the value should be, given that these are the parameters?
It doesn't really matter.
What do you think? Give me
something.
Give me a value for the dice that you think is reasonable.
Okay, well, let's look at the layers. Let's say each layer is 5. So
it's, what would you say?
90.
Sorry, Nathan?
Yeah, just call it 90. Why not?
Okay. So this represents the dice. So I'm going to put that right over the dice. Now I'm going to go with the layer of milk. I'm going to call this milk. I don't know whether it is milk or not. It doesn't matter, but what should we put for the milk?
100.
100?
Okay. Now we'll go up the other way and we'll go for this. We'll go for this dark color here, in between the two lighter colors. So what value should we put for this one?
75.
Pardon?
75.
Sounds good
By
to me.
the way, I want to note that is assumed that they are in an equal density ratio, because
They can't not be.
just
Look at them.
because there's this amount of that stuff.
Yeah, but
So-
look at them. They are separated into their relative.
Yeah, they are separate. They have different densities, but just because there's a specific amount, so they're always going to divide in their order.
I
Sure.
don't think the amount
The
makes any
height
difference.
doesn't
If you had more
technically
milk,
mean-
if you had double the amount of milk, you just have double the milk layer.
Yes, exactly. It's not, the height doesn't have anything to do with the actual density.
No.
It's just that's the order of the different densities.
So
Just to say.
what value should we give this blue one here? This layer in the middle?
I think you've made your point, actually, Anthony, at this stage.
No, I'm getting there. Would you say, let's go with, say, see, it gets a bit awkward now because we've got a value of 90 for the dice. Then we've got that color there. Got to be careful here because we can't go too close to 75. But I am making my point. But I'm getting that the reason why I'm doing this is because if we make this into, if we put a lid on the top, let's just put this one in. Let's call this, say,
85.
I'm going to do 83 just because. Now, all these values are all relative to each other. Now,
Okey-doke.
what I want you to imagine now is that we put a lid on the top of this and we make it into a vacuum chamber, so it's now a sealed unit.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before we do that, forget about the lid. Yeah, actually, I do need the lid. Let's put the lid back on.
I refuse
So
to
you're
have a
going to
lid.
draw the gas out, basically. That's going to redefine the properties of the material. You do realize that, don't you?
No, I don't think it will.
I'm getting there. Bear with me. I'm getting there. So the air in this space that's not one of the liquids, what value should we give the air in the space that's now inside the vacuum tube that's not had the vacuum created yet? It's still got the air in it. What value should we give it?
30.
Great. So now we're going to take all the air out of the tube. All of the air is going to be removed out of this container, and we're going to see what the effect is going to do. So what do you think what change do you think would happen if we removed the air from the chamber? What would happen?
Well, I think I have no idea what the assumptions are, but the natural presumption for me, and I could have this completely wrong, is that the first layer, the next least dense layer, will evaporate.
All that would happen for me is the value that was 30 will now become 0 because it's got no air in it anymore. there's nothing there anymore. The value becomes 0. The air's gone. So it's a 0 value. But all the other things would stay the same apart from...
As I said before, if you're going to put a liquid, especially into a vacuum, the properties are no longer the same. Because vacuum is an unnatural situation. It will change the way it works.
Sure.
That's a very critical element.
The only thing that's going to change by removing the air, the only thing that's going to change, in my opinion, and I might be wrong, but this is the way I see stuff, is that this ball that's got air inside of it will have a pressure differential between what it was and what it now is. Because what it was, it had air inside of it, and assuming that it's a sealed ball, that air is going to expand, but it's going to change the density of this ball because it's now going to become a value that's got more space because it's going to expand. But it's going to change the density of this, but everything else will stay the same.
No, I absolutely disagree. You don't know what all these materials, how they would respond to a naturally decreased pressure.
Well, fair point, but I'm working on the assumption that there's no air in any of these materials.
Okay, but that's a very big assumption to make as a critical cornerstone of the experiment.
But the point is that this one does have air in it.
Yeah,
so
but when it
what
does
I'm trying
have
to show
air
now
in,
is that
it's
when
got
you remove the air from
value.
this...
So it's got a value of 35 pressing down on it.
Pardon?
It's got a value pressing down on it. 35 you attributed to it. When you remove that, there's no longer any pressure on where you've currently got a 0 written. Suddenly there's no pressure on that, so that will expand.
Yeah, that's right. But it'll also change the buoyancy value of this, won't it? Because it'll have the same mass, but it'll be over a bigger area, and the pressure differential will push it all out.
I agree with that. So yeah, it would fill the container, and suddenly, Owen's right. You don't know exactly what would happen, but in theory, based on what you're saying, you would just fill the container, and you have the red layer all the way to the top.
Yeah. But it might well fill the container. I don't know what would happen, but the it would be something that you could probably test if you could get all these kind of layers all separated. But the point for this demonstration is that this ball would get more buoyant. So relative to the environment it's in, it'd still stay on the top, but it would become more buoyant. The value would drop. However, let's put all the air back in now. Let's put the air back into it. So we get rid of the 35 and we get rid of the 0 value. And let's put the air back into it so that the value, the density of the air that we put in it, if we could make this dense air like more dense, let's put the value of the air to 85 in this area now. Suddenly, this is now the air now is heavier than the 70. So this 85 value of air would have to drop to the value that's 85, and it would sit somewhere in the middle, and it would displace everything that above it that's more buoyant. This would then become more dense. And that would move all by itself without any need for gravity whatsoever. It would displace everything that's below it because it's too dense to sit at the top. And everything that's got a lesser value more dense
that's
would
very
move to the top.
interesting. You're demonstrating the elaborate workings of different materials with density, but does not disprove gravity.
Well, it does.
At all.
It doesn't.
It does.
Absolutely not.
It
no,
does. So
it does because it doesn't require gravity to work.
Look, you're
Before you argue
overlooking.
about it, I'm going to stick this out anyway. So in conclusion, your position regarding up and down is only relative to how buoyant or dense you are.
Yeah. Now,
can I please make my statement? And that is, the gravity is not what it does, whatever causes it. And if you theorize that it could be changed, it's in this case basically assumed on that the mass of a planet would cause a different type of gravity situation. What it technically does, it will cause a difference in the speed at which these layers divide from each other.
Well,
That is what it does.
That and the heat generated, because heat rises. So if each layer is a different temperature, that'll also cause a separation in the density too. I've been looking into.
That's also a case. But
I've been looking into possible why they're spraying the chemtrails is to form a heat barrier to do exactly what Anthony's demonstrating in his diagram here. Have you guys researched at all into sun simulators and Fresnel lenses and people claiming that they're photographing artificial suns in certain areas? I'm just saying, I don't know if it's true or not. I've been researching that out. But how would they suspend these sun simulators or these Fresnel lenses that they claim they're using, and they're saying that something's happening with the sun, that something's eclipsing our sun on a regular daily basis now. I don't know how true of any of this is. A lot of it has to do with the Planet X stuff, which I don't believe in. Remember we were talking about that, Erwin?
Okay, but what are the sources for this? Because I haven't seen any sightings of that.
Well,
And
I'm just saying there's YouTube channels.
all right, well, that's not really a lot of proof unless they actually have footage.
Well,
Because
they have footage, and there's patents on sun simulators, Bosch and Lam and NASA, and there's photographs of them. Like I said, I don't know how true any of this stuff is. I'm just,
Now, let me just finish. Let me just finish my point.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, what Nick shows in this video by Phuket Word is that by adding salt to the water, it changes the density of the water, and it's effectively exactly the point I've just made with regards to the different densities of the airs, or the products that are in the middle in between. And basically, you can make the egg change its position just by changing the density of the water to make the egg more buoyant or less buoyant. And it's the same thing here, but there is no gravity required to do this.
No, it's not involved. The gravity is not changed. As I said, what gravity does is basically and it's not literally force, but basically cause the way it separates and the speed with which it separates to increase or decrease.
Big shout out to Joey for the super chat. Globe exit. Indeedy.
A centrifuge that's spinning much faster than gravity, then that separation will go a lot faster. They even use this in laboratories, quick centrifuges, to separate the layers very quickly.
But my point
is what gravity does.
What I'm saying is, if you can alter the density of different items, different layers, you make things move. Now, gravity isn't
just
part of it.
change the density, causing the distribution of the layers to change. That is what you do.
Right, but the eggs physically moved position without any gravity changing.
No, but it's not related.
Exactly. So this argument over down being the representation of gravity isn't true. Gravity is not a perception of up or down. It's simply the displacement of different densities within the medium that it's in. The egg
I would agree with that.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Well, it's just not related. No, the gravity is still there. Look, if the gravity or a force that would artificially create more gravity, like in a centrifuge, would be used in this setup, then the egg, whatever that is, would move a lot faster as you change the density of the layers by adding salt.
Maybe, but the problem we have is we can't vary the gravity to test.
No, you can. You can with a centrifuge. If you put this setup in a centrifuge, then I just explained this to you.
Yeah, but you're not varying the gravity. What you're doing is adding a new force.
It is like gravity. It's basically the same effect. It's not saying that gravity is centrifuge, but it does seem to have the same type of properties as acceleration, which gravity basically comes down to. That's also part of the formula. It's like how fast do things accelerate in their fall in a normal air environment.
Okay. It's if you have inertia and movement. But what if you're still?
Sorry?
It's if you have inertia or movement in the centrifuge, like you said. Well, what if the object's still in at rest without any movement?
You're breaking up a bit. I can't really make out what you're saying. Sorry, Billy.
Just saying, what if the object is still in at rest and not in movement?
Then the layers have settled to their natural divisions.
Very interesting. Very deep topic, too, by the way.
Yeah, but like the discussion yesterday, that reminded me. I also told this to Nathan before the hangout started. Reminded me of physics class, and yeah, I remembered that, and it is true. It's just that is what gravity does. Density, buoyancy, it uses the gravity as a baseline. Without gravity being there, and you can't really halt it, that's the problem. You can only aggravate it or put other gravity-alike forces onto something. Can't negate it here on Earth. But the gravity is still part of the workings of density and buoyancy. Theoretically, if it wasn't there, then the layers would not divide. Everything would just float randomly in its position, and only surface tension would be it would be in effect to it.
Well, obviously they've developed a method to have so-called anti-gravity devices.
No, I haven't seen proof of that. There's magnetic levitation and all that stuff, but that's still
Right.
very localized. That's all very theoretical. We haven't seen any proof of that so far. Anti-gravity.
Well, back in the early 1900s, Tesla demonstrated that he can repel aluminum with frequency. A sheet of aluminum and suspend it up off of the table in early experiments.
Like cymatics.
Well, like I said, the aluminum has
cymatic. That's like causing a vibration to basically use the vibration to forcefully displace an item or an object into a specific frequency band.
This is my question to the people that I haven't.
Hey, Numi, how you doing?
Good. Nice to see you all.
Hey, on how they're suspending these sun simulators. I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe with the balloons. I don't know how they're doing it.
Well, they obviously, if there really is, look, some simulator and some. It all depends on what they really mean with it. The thing is, they are still onto the globe system narrative. So, to us, are they creating another type of holographic sun disk some way? Because they have physically figured out how that mechanism, how the globe of the heavens really works? Or are they just using a device that can locally create a very powerful lamp that emulates the effects of sunlight? We don't
Brenda.
know.
How you doing? Good to have you.
It could mean anything.
Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Good to have you.
Hey,
Brenda.
Brenda, Ellen?
So yes.
Oh, okay. Nice bunny.
Continue on.
Oh, I thought
Just
you were
out of
going to ask a
interest,
question.
is that a beaver?
It's
No.
a mole. It looks like a mole. Or a
You're talking about me?
Yeah. What's your thumbnail?
Maybe
Naked
a mole.
mole rat. Naked mole rat.
Naked mole rat. Okay,
Looks very lovely.
Yes, it's the only eusocial mammal where they have a hive similar to bees and ants. They have one queen that reproduces, and the rest of the females are sterile workers.
Really?
It's kind of an interesting case.
And
they
it's
also
a
don't
mammal?
feel pain. Yeah, it's a mammal.
That is really bizarre.
They
Yeah.
also don't get cancer, right?
Yeah, and they don't feel pain.
What?
They don't feel pain. Wow, that's a big one.
Well, that's what they say. I don't know. That's how. Yeah, that's what they say. Anyways, that they don't They seem to have lost the capacity to feel pain in their external nervous system, in their peripheral nervous system.
Wow.
Due to their environment, living underground in a low oxygen environment.
So they're like not surface creatures burrowing, but they're like really deep earth creatures.
Yeah, they typically will never see the surface in their entire life.
Wow. That is
really
unique.
Yeah, and they breathe with an atmosphere where there's only like 5% oxygen in the air or something like that.
So they're very how do you say
specialized.
Yeah. But
very
also carbon dioxide resistant, probably.
Yeah, and I think that they said
that they're breathing with carbon dioxide there.
I don't know what
and that has something to do with their incapacity for pain, because apparently just having that kind of I can't remember the details anymore, but it's pretty interesting if you want to look into it.
I guess they eat roots a lot. Then
Yeah, they
Probably
eat.
bugs.
No, they don't eat bugs. They're rodents, so they're vegetarian. They eat the roots of certain like tubers, basically.
Huh.
Kind of like
Fascinating.
potato type roots that exist in they exist in the African savanna, I think.
Well, that's a good way to stay out of the sun.
Yeah,
Interesting tactic.
it's a very strange case. Very strange animal.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I just
So
I was
let's
fascinated with it when I chose the picture, but it's kind of, I don't know, just something that interested me at some point in time, like many other things.
All right.
Sure.
Let's get back to the subject. Brenda,
Gravity.
you gonna ask something?
Gravity.
Yes.
Up and down. Do you understand up and down yet?
Yeah.
What do you understand about up and down?
Well, that seems to be the division in which the
What?
No one has anything to say about up and downs.
Well, Arwen
Yes.
was saying something, and then he stopped.
I truly believe up and down. Absolutely. But with relativism, there is no up or down.
Why are we're getting?
You're getting sniped.
Well, it could be the mobile phone. Mobile phones drop. Mobile
Hello.
phones will drop a connection too. So I don't know.
No, he got sniped.
Yeah, that guy.
No, he's
Hey,
not.
I just
you were
heard him
asking
though.
if I up and down. Did you get to hear my explanation, or was it cut off?
Jamie Dreary sniped.
Yeah, he's a known troll.
Okay, so up and down. Arwen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're
Can you hear
not
me?
showing. Okay, but
Showing up. Okay, whatever. Go ahead, Arwen. I'm sorry.
No, I was just wondering where exactly I was
let's
cut
get
off.
the concept of up and down firm here.
All right.
Let's
Well, up and down, in my current view, is the division by which the heavy and the light are divided. In partial thanks to the constant of gravity.
So that's not correct. And it doesn't make any sense. The division by which something is divided is just nonsense.
I understood it.
Yes, I'm sure you did.
Well, sorry
It
if
doesn't
my
make any
language
sense
barrier
to
got in the
say
way.
that up and down is the division by which something is divided. That's incoherent. Up and down
Understood it.
are simply directions.
English isn't his primary language, Brenda. You have to compensate for that a little bit.
I think even the English can understand this.
Yeah, I did understand it.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I understood what he
No,
was
You
saying.
he
pretend
understood
you
what I
do,
meant.
but
Don't be
um,
so
when
nitpicky.
somebody says that up and down is the division between how things are divided, that literally is without any meaning. So you saying you understand it doesn't make any sense either. So
Okay.
up and down are simply directions, right? Down is
I
towards
thought we were
gravity, a
talking
source
in
of gravity,
relation to physics and buoyancy.
and
that.
up is against the pull of
The
gravity.
problem with that statement, Brenda, is you can't prove gravity in the first place. So down is
Yeah, I can.
down. No, you can't.
Since gravity is simply the phenomena that we observe,
Really?
that yes, we can observe it.
Well,
right.
it's mostly
It's an
the
observed
buoyancy
phenomenon.
effect
We
that
might
we
not-
actually get to
right?
perceive.
What evidence have you got for this observed phenomena? Because I've never seen the phenomena known as
You've
gravity.
never seen gravity. Well,
Never.
Things fall.
Yeah,
That's gravity.
Yeah, but gravity is described as a general attraction between all masses, not just things falling, right? So we
Yeah.
have to make a distinction between things falling, which we can observe, and this more generalized attraction between masses, which is not proven, right?
I understand, but that's advanced physics for you. We're just trying to get you clear on the idea of up and down.
No, I think that Riley understands that, and that's what he's trying to say here, is that you can't, that gravity is not a well evidenced assumption, and we're going to talk about it in terms of physics.
Assumptions never have any evidence. Assumption is an assumption. Observations are different.
Assumptions can have
up and down
Riley
directions.
opened the hangout by saying that he didn't understand up and down, and I'm trying to explain that.
Don't patronize us, okay? It's ridiculous.
Well, he opened the hangout by saying he didn't understand up and down.
No,
and I'm trying to explain it. That's exactly what you said.
No, that's not.
I think he was saying he doubted whether up and down is a true phenomenon.
So there's no such thing as up and down in density over buoyancy, because down indicates that there's a gravity that you're pointing towards or being pulled towards. There is no up or down.
That's only assuming that gravity is a tangible force. In that sense, to assume that gravity pulls you down or pushes you down, that is more the assumption that should be drawn into.
There's no assumptions here.
But
it's just a label,
just directions.
Right?
Correct. It's a label.
It's just up and down are simply the name that we give towards the force of gravity, and up is away from the source of gravity.
No, that's
just a label. It's just a direction.
No, that's a nonsense.
No, that's an assumption.
No such thing as gravity.
No, it's not.
Prove it.
Yes, it is. You don't know how that works with gravity. You just
we don't have to.
Up and down existed long before the theory of gravitation. So
exactly my point.
Yeah, but your definition.
Up and down.
So then the definition of down can't depend on gravity if it pre-exists gravity.
Well, gravity is simply the force that we observe that pulls objects towards the ground. Right?
No, it isn't. It is not.
Assumption.
It's a theoretical idea that needs testing and needs to be falsified, or that requires some more evidence to be accepted.
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
It could be also the lack of a force applied to an object too.
Yeah. Or it could be that we're accelerating in a direction that we're not aware of.
Well, that's too advanced for you, but for right now,
no, it's not.
For right now,
what I'm suggesting is too advanced for me.
Yes,
I don't think you can approach this conversation
yes, it is,
this way.
Because
no, it's not, Brenda.
What we need to do establish first.
What
we need to establish first is
ridiculous.
We have.
So we have to agree with your unproven theories in order to establish anything in this conversation to define about what up and down is. Is that what you're saying? We have to agree with you.
You need to understand something, that where there's two different things we're talking about. One would be the theory of gravity, and the other would be the observation of the phenomenon, the facts that we observe.
No.
Right?
No.
So we observe, yes.
No, because gravity is confusing, like what we're seeing, and basically gravity was created to join together like have the observations of celestial bodies and this up and down thing that we seem to subjectively experience on Earth. So it's not just gravity is not just things falling. It's not. It's the general attraction between masses, and it's an important distinction, because if there is not a general attraction between masses, then we don't have gravity. We have something else.
You don't have gravitational pull. You can still call it gravity.
Much later. That theory came much later. We're at the very, very beginning, and we have to get straight.
So then we're not observing gravity. You keep saying, "Oh, there's this thing that."
I said it was a phenomenon.
It isn't a phenomenon. It's a theory.
Yeah,
we observe a phenomenon.
Come on, little g, big G, gravity. Let's just make a distinction between
the observation of the phenomenon, Brenda, is caused by density. It's not caused by gravity, and you have no evidence to prove that it is caused.
So if somebody says gravity, then please don't automatically assume that they mean gravitational pull. Let's just make that distinction here.
Well, we observe the phenomenon that things tend to fall to the ground.
Well, that's
right?
Not,
and we call that gravity. People call it gravity.
Hold on, what do you mean we
No,
call
people
that?
called it
Brenda,
gravity
hold on,
before
guys,
there
hold
was
on.
any theory
Hold
of
on,
gravity.
hold on.
No, they didn't. They
Hold
didn't
on,
call it
Brenda,
gravity
Brenda.
before there was a theory of
Yes, they
gravity.
did.
Brenda,
No, they didn't.
hold on, Nummy. Brenda, so
Evidence
you said,
proves-
so what you just said was we observe a phenomenon and then we assert that it's gravity. Well, that's not
No.
very scientific, is it
We
now?
just give it a name. Yeah, that's
that's
perfectly
not what you
scientific.
do in science, though, is it? You don't just
Yes,
observe a
yes,
phenomenon.
it is.
No,
Now
it's
that
not. The
Brenda
next
said that
step
people
would be
call that
to
gravity.
formulate a hypothesis. That would be the scientific
Right,
method. Now, wouldn't it? Right,
But
do you want
have
to do that?
Observe it first.
First, you observe a phenomenon. So then you formulate a hypothesis. Would you like to do
Correct.
that next?
So like for instance, lightning. We observe the phenomenon.
Not
of
lightning. We're
lightning,
talking about gravity.
and then-
What the hell are you
and
doing?
then-
Shh.
and then
Shh. We're talking about gravity, Brenda. So would you like to formulate a hypothesis around gravity, please? Let's not talk about lightning.
I'm showing you how science is done.
I don't need to be shown how science is done. Tell me your hypothesis for gravity.
You don't understand how science is done.
You tell me what your hypothesis is.
So we observe the phenomenon of things falling down, and
Yeah,
then
I've
we
got that bit.
formulate a
Yeah, now
theory
we're on to step
of
2.
gravity.
We get that.
The
Step
theory,
2.
the theory says that there is.
No, I don't want to know about the theory. We're doing experiments and we are formulating hypothesis. I don't give a crap
Yes.
about your theory.
That's what a theory is.
No, it's not. I want to
Yes,
hear
it is.
your hypothesis. Are you dumb?
The hypothesis then would be that objects will fall to the ground at the same rate.
What a hypothesis does is establish the if and then relationship, the cause
Yes.
and effect.
If I
Therefore,
drop-
in a hypothesis, you require
Okay.
a dependent and an independent variable. Can you give me those, please, Brenda? Start with the independent.
If I take a steel ball and a rubber ball and I drop them from the Tower of Pisa,
Sorry, so
They will
if
hit the ground,
if
they will
steel
then-
ball, so
they
are
will
you
hit the
saying
ground at the
if
same
steel
time.
ball is your independent variable? So if steel ball, is that your independent variable?
it's like you learned a word and you don't know how to use it.
I'm
So what if
asking
it's
you
a
if steel ball is your independent variable. Observation.
No.
The phenomenon is gravity. Now I'm getting your independent variable and I've heard the word steel ball. So is the independent variable steel ball, Brenda?
The hypothesis.
Yeah, I know what the hypothesis is. Is that what we're establishing with your independent variable? So what's your independent variable? Is it or is it not steel ball?
There's no independent variable in this.
Yeah, there is. That's what a hypothesis is, you moron. Go and look
no,
it up,
that's not what a
retard.
hypothesis-
Don't tell me what a hypothesis is, you absolute buffoon. Don't do that. You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot.
Brenda, he's right. A hypothesis does contain the two values he's just been speaking of. You've got it wrong.
Right, so do you have an independent variable for your gravity experiment or not?
A hypothesis is.
I understand what a hypothesis is. It requires an independent and a dependent variable, Brenda. I'm not going to say it again. Give them to me right now.
That implies.
I don't want any
independent
implies.
variables. You
Give
don't
me
know
your
what you're talking
dependent
about,
and
Nathan.
independent
You don't
variable.
understand. You don't
Now.
understand this stuff.
Have you got an independent and an independent variable or not?
I don't need one.
You do, you complete idiot. Yeah? That's what a hypothesis is. You absolute retard.
Why do I
You
need an
can't-
independent variable, Nathan?
Because
So
that's
you can
what a
test it.
hypothesis
So you can
is.
test your hypothesis.
The independent variable, retard, is the cause in your cause and effect relationship.
my hypothesis.
The independent variable is the cause. Do you get it, you idiot?
My hypothesis is.
Yeah, your hypothesis is the cause and effect relationship, the if and then relationship, the independent and the dependent variable. You complete idiot.
Fine. Then if
Not fine. Give them to me. What is your malfunction, you stupid retard?
gravity is the independent variable.
Gravity
And the-
is the observed phenomenon, you stupid idiot. Yeah?
No.
What aren't you getting?
It's falling.
What part of spastic are you? The independent variable is not gravity. That's the observed phenomenon, you idiot.
You don't understand this.
I don't understand, you blithering idiot. I understand that you've told me that the observed phenomenon is gravity. Now we're on to step 2, the hypothesis. I want your independent and dependent variable, and you're telling me that the observed phenomenon and the independent variable are the same thing. You're an idiot.
A hypothesis is a proposed.
Stop telling me what a hypothesis is. You're an
based
idiot.
on
You don't
limit-
know what a hypothesis is, so don't patronise me with your idiocy. You're an idiot. What the hell are you even doing here?
I know you're very frightened. This is very frightening.
I'm not
for you.
frightened. I am absolutely pissed off with idiots and morons like you, who come on and tell me they've got proof, then tell me things like, we observe a phenomenon and they call it gravity. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's not what you do in science, you absolute idiot. That's why I'm getting annoyed with you, because you're an idiot and you don't understand what science is.
It's like with lightning. We observe.
Oh, shut up. Shut your stupid mouth. I don't want to hear about lightning. I want to hear about gravity. Do you get it?
For instance, with
Not,
lightning,
for instance,
the theory
gravity.
that if we put
Brenda, just
if we
if
put
you come
a
on
conductor
Nathan's
at
show,
the top of a
don't
building, the lightning
say
will
that you
flow
have proof
down the conductor
when you
and
obviously
into the
don't.
She's
ground.
off babbling, talking over Arwin now.
Just
Brenda,
don't,
Brenda, what
don't
Nathan's trying
start
to get at
rumpusing around. Don't assume that you have
Oh, he's
proof
very
when
triggered.
you clearly don't.
I'm very upset.
gravity.
This is very frightening.
What is your experiment to explain the phenomena of gravity? And it would require an independent and a dependent variable in your scientific method of experiment that could be tested. That's what Nathan's trying to explain, Brenda. Now be
Well,
relevant now.
one
just-
way. So the theory is, the hypothesis is that objects will fall to the ground at the same rate.
It's
So
not
the
a
independent
hypothesis.
variables would be the different weights of the materials that we drop,
If
and we see
and then.
if they hit the
If-
ground at the same time. So
If
you
and
could-
then.
you
That's
could-
It's
even
an
incorrect,
if
Brenda.
and then relationship. If
Yes.
what, then what? What's your independent
if
variable?
we vary, if
Stop
we
talking.
vary the weight,
Stop
I'll
talking
explain
and
to you.
listen. What is
I understand
your
this-
independent variable? The cause. Please?
if we vary the weight of the objects, they
So
will
if
nevertheless
weight-
still fall
Let's get
at
it
the
da-
same
let's get it
speed.
pegged. If weight. So the independent variable is weight, correct?
So if we vary the composition or the weight of the objects, they will still fall at the same speed. That is correct.
If
So
weight,
steel
then
ball-
hold on.
No,
So the
no, that's
dependent
not correct.
variable is falling. If weight, then falling.
I don't know what if weight then falling means.
Yeah, if and
But-
then relationship, cause and effect. I'm trying to establish it, and it makes no sense because you haven't formulated a decent hypothesis. Your
Well, you talk over me
hypothesis
whenever I try to
makes
tell you
no
about
sense. You understand why I'm doing this with you? You're saying, well, I'm putting it into this if and then relationship, and it doesn't seem to make any bloody sense. Yeah, no
I've
shit.
explained it to you, Nathan.
You
but you've been
explained
very
nothing
triggered
to
and
me.
Very frightened.
You-
So if you just take some deep breaths and relax.
No, Nathan is
Oh,
not
relax.
pissed
When
off
you
because
are
you're being
established
arrogant and you're not
in
listening.
providing
I'm not
an
being arrogant, I'm
variable.
trying to calm
Yes,
him
you
down.
are. Yes, you are. You
So
were
the
from the very
hypothesis,
beginning
the
patronizing
hypothesis
us,
that Galileo
and then,
formed.
and then starting to bluster that you have proof on Nathan's show. You shouldn't do something like that. You
The
should know better.
hypothesis
If you've been
is
paying
that-
attention to this show, then you know what happens when you claim proof.
Okay, let's hear
I'm not
let's hear the
claiming
null
proof.
hypothesis from Brenda.
I'm not claiming proof.
Let's hear the null hypothesis.
So I need to explain this. The hypothesis is
The null
that
hypothesis.
that no matter the weight of the objects, they will fall to the ground at the same speed. That's Galileo's original hypothesis.
So can you give me the
it
alternative
was- and-
hypothesis, please?
He never actually tested it.
Sorry,
but the-
Brenda,
the
try
thought
to
experiment
listen.
is-
Try to listen. Now give me the alternative hypothesis, please.
Hey, Sperkeasel.
Yeah, it's me. Don't kick.
Let's just establish the alternative hypothesis with Brenda, please.
Well, the alternative hypothesis would be that objects of different weights would not fall at the same speed.
Excellent. Now can you show
Right.
your experiment, please? Your test.
So the theory is, the hypothesis.
We've got that.
Is,
now we're moving on to the
that's
test.
Galileo's
Now let's see the
hypothesis.
test.
Let me just recap.
Now we can see the test.
We got all that. We got the phenomenon. We got
I
the
don't
theory.
think you do.
No? Okay.
So
Can we test your
talk
phenomenon
back to
theory?
Okay, let her recap. What's your independent variable?
the weight of the balls.
If weight. Then what? Then falling.
They'll fall at the same speed.
And if not weight,
They hit
then
the
not
ground at the
falling,
same
correct?
at the same time. They hit the ground at the same time. So if you have a heavy ball and a light ball, you let them go, they'll hit the ground at the same time.
Okay, let's see your tests. Let's see your experiments then. Let's see this being done.
Huh?
Let's see them if weight, then if not weight. Let's see it done. Let's see the hypothesis test being done.
Why don't you do it for yourself?
What the
You can
hell are you
take a
talking
heavy
about?
ball,
Not
light bulb.
what I can do going forward. Let's see this test. You said Galileo did it, right? Let's see it. Let's see the competition. Let's see the people who've done it also.
Science, because satellites don't exist. We don't have a single picture.
So let's see them. They've been done, right?
Don't
People have
boot her.
repeated this at nausea, I would assume.
Yeah, and by the way, I disagree, because if one of
Hold
these
on,
balls
Arwin.
were a
Let's
balloon
Let's
filled
see
with
Brenda
gas,
show
and
these
the other would be
tests.
just- yeah. Okay. I'm just saying she's even.
Well, no, just
in
I don't
her
want to hear it. I'm on
assumption,
step
she's
4
wrong.
of the scientific method. Tests. So let's see them. So we can then validate them or invalidate them. Hello? Brenda?
There you go.
Do you want to put it up on your screen?
Sure. There's a medicine ball and a basketball. One is heavy, one is light. They will hit the ground at the same time.
Okay, can you show me in varying the weight? The independent variable is the thing that you vary. So
They did vary the weight. One of the balls is light and one of the balls is heavy.
and
Yeah,
it
I
did
believe
it
her.
and did it meet the
That's
null
varying the
hypothesis? Did it meet the alternative hypothesis criteria? If not weight, then not falling. Can you show me
What
that?
are you talking about?
The alternative hypothesis.
The variable here is the weight of
Yes.
the ball.
If weight, then falling. The alternative hypothesis. If not weight, then not falling. Correct?
No, that doesn't make any sense at
Yes,
all.
that's what an alternative hypothesis is, Brenda. Do you understand
make
the scientific
alternative-
method, you idiot?
The alternative.
We went through
falling at the
this.
same speed.
We went through this, Brenda. Yeah? If not weight, then not falling.
If the alternative is that they
It
would
won't
not,
fall. Yeah, we've gone through this, haven't we, Brenda? Yeah, you're seeing the problem. You seeing the problem, Brenda?
What problem?
The alternative hypothesis. If not
The
weight,
alternative
then not
hypothesis is
falling.
They would not hit the ground at the same time.
Not hit the ground at the same time, not falling.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about your
There we
alternative
go. Boom.
hypothesis. An alternative hypothesis has to be the complete opposite of the null hypothesis, Brenda. That's how it works. Yeah? Do you get it?
You're right,
No, that's
Brenda.
not how it works.
Oh, here we
this.
go. Brenda's going to start telling us from her retarded position of ignorance, total ignorance, what it does.
Nathan, I want Brenda to tell us what it should be doing, this method that she doesn't agree with. Let's hear what she says.
What are you talking about, Nate?
No worries. Give us step 1 of the scientific method, Brenda.
Is you make observations.
No, that's not the step. That's not the first step at all. Incorrect. Try again.
You make observations. You
Wrong.
formulate a
Try
hypothesis.
again.
You make observations. You formulate a hypothesis.
No, you've got the
You do
first
it.
step wrong.
Conduct
How many
experiments.
times you failed at the first step? Incorrect. Step 1. Try
Prove
one
it.
more
Prove it.
time, Brenda,
Prove it.
you idiot.
Prove it. Prove it.
Brenda,
Prove it that I'm
I'm
wrong.
asking you, and I'm
me
also
I'm wrong.
telling you. I'm not hypothesizing. I'm not theorizing. I'm damn well telling you. You're wrong. You don't have
I'm
to
wrong.
like it, you retard. You can just try again. See if you get it right a third attempt.
Well, show me how I'm wrong.
I don't need to, you dickhead.
You don't need to show me I'm wrong?
Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah.
Observe a phenomenon, Brenda.
That's what I said.
No, you said make an observation. Incorrect. Observe
That's
a
the same
phenomenon.
thing. That's the same
Do you understand
thing.
the difference, Brenda? Or do I need to tell you that too
There's no
because you're a
difference.
complete idiot? I'll qualify because you're obviously completely stupid, right? Looking at a tree is just looking at a tree, which is what you said. Observe things. Wrong, because you're an idiot. Things falling off the tree might be considered a
Poor
phenomenon.
little me,
That's
I'm so
why
stupid,
that
I
word's
can't
quite
understand these
important,
things.
especially to retards like you.
I understand. Well, if
So,
I'm retarded,
fail. Do you get it, Brenda? You don't get it. You've told me I don't understand it, and here we are with you failing at the first hurdle. Do you get it,
yes,
idiot?
yes. I said science begins with observations.
And it doesn't. It begins with observing phenomenon, Brenda. That's what it begins with. You were wrong because you're a retard.
It begins with what again?
Observing phenomena.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, okay. So you were wrong, you complete idiot. Don't
So we
tell me I
observe-
don't understand the scientific method.
you were
You
right. You
failed
were right
at the
all
first
along.
hurdle.
You're right.
You complete idiot.
that was Minneapolis telling me there's a snow emergency. We have a blizzard here in
So,
April.
step 2, Brenda.
You formulate a hypothesis.
Wrong.
I'm wrong again?
Yeah, because you're an idiot. What are you
What-
even
what-
doing here?
What is it? What is it though? What is the
Literature
second-
review.
What is the second step? Huh?
Literature review. So, step 3 would
What?
be construct a formal hypothesis. That's what step 3 is. So, what about
I didn't-
step 4?
I didn't.
What about step 4, Brenda the retard?
It cut out when you said step 2. I didn't hear you.
We're on to step 4. What's step
But I didn't
4?
hear what step 2 is. I want to.
Yeah, you're so confused and bewildered about what the scientific method is, and yet you're telling me I don't understand it. You complete arrogant
What was
tosser.
step 2?
How dare you?
The
How dare
audio
you?
cut out.
Excuse
The
me,
audio-
are you going to admit that you were completely incorrect and that you told me
I
I
am.
didn't
I'm
understand
just
something
totally
that you are
incorrect.
now
I am.
bewildered about?
I am. I'm a total moron. Yes.
Good.
That's fine. Yes. What was step 1 was you observe a phenomenon. Step 2 was what? I forgot.
Yeah, because you're an idiot.
I
Go
know,
up.
I am.
You can
What
go
was
and do
step
this
2?
stuff for yourself, Brenda, like you told me to do with your experiment you didn't understand. Go away and learn it,
What was-
you
what
idiot.
was step 2
Don't
again?
ask me to tell you what it is. Go away and learn it and return slightly less ignorant.
Just help me out.
Just go away and learn it, you stupid idiot. Don't ask me to teach it you.
I know. I need to go away and learn the difference.
You do. Good girl. Now go away and learn it.
To be fair, on this one occasion, Nath, at the time when you gave the step 2, somebody spoke over you. It might have been Brenda herself. I don't know who it was, but I
She
didn't
should
hear what
know.
you said for step
I
2
don't
either.
need to tell her. She needs to tell me.
Yeah, okay, I
Step
agree.
2 is we
Right.
formulate a hypothesis.
So who cares whether I was spoken over? Brenda the moron, Brenda the retard, Brenda the idiot has told me that I don't understand this, and she is totally
don't.
bewildered, without a clue, getting clarity from me now. So screw
I'm just
you,
trying
you
to
idiot.
explain up and down.
Go away and learn it. You stupid idiot. How
Yeah.
dare
Or
you?
just-
How dare you accuse me of not knowing this stuff? You complete and utter retard.
You should
Yep.
get it all out. Get it all out.
What, that
Yeah,
you're a
Brenda,
retard?
just learn, okay? When you come on
Yeah,
the
just
show,
learn.
don't
Be
get all
less
arrogant
ignorant.
and tell us that we don't understand the scientific method. Just drop that
don't.
attitude
Yeah,
And
drop your
true.
stupid attitude.
You won't be grilled.
I know
okay?
you're such.
Yeah, you stutter like an idiot. You stuttering buffoons, all of you ballers. I want to see you line up and stutter like Brenda.
Uh-huh.
Lupus.
So, can you explain to me what step 2 is again?
No! Get your ass on the computer, off this panel, and go and educate yourself, you ignorant idiot.
I've done that. And at step 2, you make a hypothesis.
No.
Step
And
one
step
is
three.
the hypothesis.
No,
Yes.
step 1 is you conduct observations. From the basis of those observations.
No. Wrong. You observe a phenomenon. Why are you now telling me what Wikipedia says? Get the hell off my show. You're an idiot. You don't deserve to be here. You think because you can type something while you're on the show that you've got something over me? You complete retard. Don't embarrass yourself.
I know.
You're a retard. I'm sick of hearing from you. Yeah? What the hell are you even doing here?
Well, I'm obviously here so that you can show me how definitely.
I don't want to show you anything, especially when you're telling me that I don't understand it, only to discover later on that you're a retard and who hasn't got the first clue what they are talking about.
I don't understand the difference between observations and observations.
No, observation of phenomena. How many times have I... See, even if I do tell you, Brenda, you're either deaf or this stuff just doesn't compute. Yeah? So I have told you. So what's the point of me telling you the rest of the steps? It won't go in. You clearly got learning difficulties. So I've already told you this, Brenda. Phenomena. You've got to observe something happening. Not just an observation. A tree is an observation, right? Just looking at a tree. That's not science.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you even doing here? Go away and educate yourself, you buffoon.
I know.
Yeah, I know too. Everybody watching this knows. All 165 people watching understand that you're an idiot, Brenda.
Are we on live? I thought.
Yes, we are.
I didn't know.
We're in a separate little hangout so that when
Oh, shut up.
when
Shut up.
trolls come in
Shut
and
up.
snipe,
Come back with proof of gravity, you
doesn't
idiot.
go away.
Don't tell my guests how my hangout
Brenda,
runs.
fine. Send
Shut
in your
up.
trolls. We don't care.
I
Brenda,
didn't know
go
we were
away,
on.
learn what the scientific method is, then come back
I
with
know
proof
what
of
it is.
gravity.
I know what it is.
No, you don't. We've just demonstrated that admirably.
So, I'd like to
So
continue.
what are you
the
still doing
subject.
here? Go away, learn the scientific method, and come back with proof of gravity.
We can
Yeah,
prove gravity
what is
easily.
it with you? What are you not
Scientific
computing?
method.
Go away, educate yourself, dumbass. Come back and prove gravity.
The first step.
The first step that you said when you join this hangout is we observe something and then call it gravity. Feel tongue lashed, sod off, and get actual proof.
Proof of what?
I can't believe my ears. You are literally retarded. Gravity.
No, gravity is just something that we can observe.
Well, then it's not science, is it?
Yeah, it is. That's
No, it's
science.
not. That's step one, observing a phenomenon, isn't it, you retard? We've just gone through this. That's what I'm saying. You've fallen at the first hurdle. Yeah? You idiot pretender clowns make observations and then decide to call it something. It's outrageous.
Yeah, dropping the
Right.
mic's not gonna cut it.
Right. Don't just drop a mic and call it gravity, dickhead.
Well, it is. That's what
No,
it is.
that's not science. That's idiocy. That's why
No,
you're
it's
getting
not.
a tongue lashing right now. Don't you get it?
I'm getting a tongue lashing because
Because you're a retard. Yeah? Because you say I observe a phenomena and then I just decide to attribute it something called gravity. I don't need to do anything else. I don't even need to understand what the methodology would be to prove it. Because I'm a retard. Yeah, we all get what's going on here, Brenda. You are absolutely humiliating yourself.
yes, I know. I'm
Yeah, I know too. You don't have to tell me what I know. I know you're a retard. I get it. I don't know why you're still here. I don't know why you haven't sodded off already, looked up what the scientific method is, educated yourself, and then gone out to try and satisfy proof of it.
well. I didn't have to look it up because I already know it.
No, you didn't. You're an idiot. You're a complete idiot. Yeah? Nothing's going to save you from this tongue lashing, idiot.
Right here. It's right here. I'm sharing the screen. This is what it is.
This is pathetic.
This is the scientific method.
Yeah,
Make
I don't need you to show me the scientific
Ask
method.
questions.
Go and get
Formulate
proof of gravity.
Develop predictions.
Go and get proof of gravity, and we will apply what you want me to show the audience. That's what we'll do. We'll apply that to it. Don't need to know the application method. We need you to go and get proof of gravity. Hey, Spurs.
Hiya. So Debbie's going to
Nathan
try.
is-
She's
Nathan is
desperate to
highly
get on to speak, and get on again. So she's going to try again, Anthony. Okay.
Yeah,
Who's
what
gonna
Debbie
try?
needs to do though is turn off the preview page before, because every time that account joins,
Uh-huh.
it makes us think that it's a sock account. And
Oh,
and
no,
it's
but
playing-
I said, didn't I? I sent.
I know, it's fine. But just tell her in future to meet the oncoming page, because Debbie Duran does have an active sock account.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll say that to her now. Okay.
Did I boot Debbie? Sorry, Debbie.
It certainly seems like Brenda's a bit of a masochist here.
But no,
I
I enjoy you humiliating yourselves.
I think she's trolling, Nathan. I don't think she's sincere.
She's an idiot.
I've got the scientific method right
You
here.
don't
I'm
need
sharing my
the
screen.
scientific method, Brenda. I don't think you listen. I honestly think you're a retard. Like you have learning difficulties. We don't need you to show us the scientific method, right? We need to apply the scientific method to your proof of gravity. Do you get it?
Do you think the theory of gravity was arrived at using the scientific method?
Yes.
Okay, well, explain how that took place then.
We've just tried this. She failed miserably.
Galileo conducted experiments.
Oh, here we
What
go
experiment?
again.
He
Rinse
tested-
and repeat, man.
he
Rinse and
tested
repeat.
falling
Have we not
objects.
just gone through this?
He tested falling objects. To
And did
test
we
that
have
they
if-
fell at the same
if-
speed, regardless of how?
Well,
And did we
define
have
gravity.
if weight not falling, Brenda? If no weight not falling, did we satisfy the alternative hypothesis? No, you idiot.
Well,
Yeah, well, what part of it didn't you listen to? It does seem like these ballers have hearing problems and then rinse and repeat. Just repeat the same shite twice. You really are beginning to piss me off, Brenda. Don't assert the same total shite a second time.
things that are weight.
Things are that gravity. You're an idiot. What the hell are you still doing here?
Gravity, weight, Nathan.
Oh, gravity. Just start preaching
weight
it.
Is a function.
Preach
weight
it,
is
sister.
A function of gravity,
Preach it.
Nathan.
Say it again. Gravity. Say it with me. Gravity. Say it stronger. We believe.
Things have weight.
We believe.
Things. No, we don't believe. We know.
Yeah, you believe.
Yeah,
You've
can't
got
prove
faith.
it.
Yeah, we can.
No,
weight
you've got a
is
religious
simply
belief.
a function of an object in a gravitational field.
Oh, here we go. We got a new one. Let's hear the hypothesis.
What are you talking about?
Scientific experimentation. The thing I've told you on multiple occasions to sod off and look up. It is literally, you do have a learning difficulty. Literally, I've said it to you. I've been clear and concise in the words. And yet, it has not processed. There's this little hamster in your head that's slowly turning, going, what's going on here like? What's going on here like? Just repeat what the guy told me. Just keep parroting and it'll all be fine. Parrot the thing in the book. Parrot. Don't process. Don't compute. Just parrot.
I understand. You're very frightened and triggered.
No,
Why the hell do you
Brenda,
keep saying I'm frightened?
sod off, will you?
So weight.
Welcome to the Satire.
Hated.
Weight
No
is
way,
just an
you
experience,
masochist, okay?
of an object in
I'm starting to
gravity.
wonder if you're called Brenda because you like being branded.
That's really funny.
Ooh,
Um,
he got you there.
so weight just something feels weight when it's in a gravity.
Brenda stutters away like a complete idiot. I'll do a quick link as we have just under 1 hour left on this live stream. Hope you're enjoying the debate thus far. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below this video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show, and one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. As I say, there is approximately 1 hour left, maybe a little bit less, on this live stream.
That's not true.
Well, somebody doesn't know something, you can't tell them?
You
What is
can't
that supposed
tell
to
them.
mean?
God.
Hey Mark, how you doing?
If you don't know, and you'll never know.
Hey Mark, how you doing? Good to have you.
What's the point in even
That's
talking?
terrible philosophy.
Well,
people can learn.
Quoting Louis Armstrong. That's what I said.
Well,
He's an idiot.
May not have been a philosophical paradigm.
And he may have been talking about music or something like that, but
He might have been high.
People who don't know things can learn if they are open to admitting they are wrong.
Like you, go away and learn the
That's not
scientific
what
method,
flat
then come up
earthers
with some
are
proof
able
of
to
gravity, Brenda. That's what you could do right now, but you're still here
Yeah, all
talking and parroting
Every flat
nonsense.
earther has had to admit they were wrong.
I was just
Flat
trying
earthers admitted they were. I've had to admit they were wrong more than anyone. You know, because
Well, now they're wrong again, so.
we're doubly wrong. No. I mean, we all come from the great wrongness that you still inhabit.
I was just trying to explain up and down. And that's how this
You
whole thing
subjectively think that the globe is wrong so that you would say that, but you cannot objectify or justify any of your claims, the Earth being flat.
I think this has been enough. But
okay, bye-bye.
Riley starting this hangout by saying he doesn't understand up and down is just fantastic. I can't think of anything.
Riley's a troll, dude.
That wasn't
He's like a Poe, like
Is he
satire
really?
troll.
You're doing what Sean Hufford does,
Is he
misrepresenting.
really
both
though?
sides.
I mean, can you ever be sure?
You can't be sure. He knows, though. He knows what he's doing quite well.
Well, I don't
I-
disagree. I disagree with Riley's
so hard to
concept.
tell.
I tried to defend it from a rather neutral standpoint without making base
Arwen's not a
assumptions
troll,
of
that's
what
for
is
sure.
proven facts, so-called, that you did, Brenda, and get all arrogant about it. And now you basically succeeded in...
Big shout out to the Afterlife now. Thanks for the super chat. Baller discomfort is loving thing. I think that's what it says. I've got to read my light off.
The effect of gravity in the buoyancy experiment that Riley earlier on demonstrated or showed, theorized about, gravity can actually be negated somewhat through the basically the falling plane setup, and that would indeed prove that the different density materials in that tube would then start floating around incoherently, and only the surface tension.
Cool, Arwen. When are you guys gonna publish the work? What are you gonna do? Just talk on YouTube about it, or are you gonna publish this new
No, we're just
discovery?
theorizing. We are not being all arrogant about it, like you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, you're preaching to the choir for the most part.
Right. So, but anyway.
So publish your work. It's just brilliant. I mean, all of the tests and experiments that you have on your channel, Arwen, I'm just very impressed with what you do. Keep it up, bud.
Maybe you could direct us to some ball Earth tests that prove things like gravity, Earth curve. Can you direct us in, 2,000 years?
No, man. I'm a flat earther. Look at my screen, dude. There's absolutely no curvature on this Earth, man. I'm admitting it now. None at all. Flat as a pancake, as Anthony Liley will say. Flat as a pancake.
Not a great day there today.
Kansas is.
Nice camera.
Brazilian salt flats are, and the sea is pretty well flat when it's at rest.
So you know what? I might go to the Bonneville Salt Flats today, and I'll take my drone with me. So you want to bet that they're just completely flat with me?
Sure.
We're gonna have to no money
go
on
there. Just go there.
I think they're completely flat. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they're flat.
Yeah.
Cool. No money. I'm not a betting man. I have what I have, and
let's make
I
it
would
a
never bet on
gentleman's
it.
bet. I'll bet, an apology that those salt flats are flat.
What
There is some
What would you
relief
guys
on
like
those
me to
salt
do
flats.
there?
They are not perfectly
Take
flat.
the drone.
No,
Commit suicide?
There is some relief on those salt flats, by the way.
Riley, come on.
Tiny
Wow.
amount, but there is some.
Guys are something else. Anyways, it's it's the same old thing. We can't come together. We can't talk about things rationally. We try to explain things.
We are together right now, and we're talking pretty rationally at the moment. So,
okay, if they belittling one another and everything, and
Kumbaya, my lord.
right,
kumbaya. Flat Earth used to be about like passing the peace pipe and crap, and now it's like.
When was
it's
it
just
ever
hatred.
about? It was never about passing the peace pipe. Are you kidding?
Oh
It's
yeah,
not-
dude! Come
no,
on,
no,
man.
no,
It's all
dude.
got
It's
super
gotten
serious,
less
hasn't it?
paranoid, not more.
It's got super serious now. We've
That's
started
pretty
asking for proof of the
vitriolic.
globe. Now it's
Peace pipe
serious.
right now. I don't know if I'm being heard or not.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm smoking. All I want to say to Brenda, when you
What are you
Tabani,
smoking?
to weed. But I was gonna say to Brenda, if you're when you start telling people to calm down when they're not mad, it only works if you're cute and the guy and the beat. If it's not that, the guy's gonna get pissed off.
Brenda's a
So
dude,
you
bro.
just pissed off a lot of guys by saying calm down. Not the desired effect. I imagine.
Like
I don't
total
think that was really
mainstream
the problem.
liberal
I think that the
cuck.
assumption
I mean,
that
he
Nathan was
basically
getting
he's the
scared was
opposite of
really
all
the
you
problem.
guys. You guys are the opposite. You're like the anti-mainstream clowns. He's like the total mainstream cuck. It's absolutely amazing to have you guys in the same room.
Brenda, do you think they landed on the moon?
I don't think
Brenda,
she's here
peace,
anymore.
dude.
I think she's gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
What about you, Tim? Do you think they landed on the moon?
Got to look at the scientific method.
I think there's more evidence that they did than they didn't. I hear a lot of disbelief from the flat earthers.
So
there's a lot of.
what-
Have you
would
ever? Let me
would
ask
be
you
willing
this.
Would you assign a
me-
probability to what? How probable do you think it is that they did land on the
Well,
moon
see,
versus that they faked it?
No, wait.
First of all,
you
it was
misunderstood
20
what he
years
said.
before. It was 20 years before I was even born. So really,
Well, what difference
epistemologically
does that makes
speaking,
that difference?
yeah, I would have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference.
No, the evidence
I
is
can't.
also
I can't
you have the
experience
same
anything
evidence as,
when I'm not
you have
born.
the same evidence as everybody else of the reality or non-reality of the event.
No, some people actually watched it. Probably.
Yeah, so they
on a
watch
more live.
Yeah, now you can watch it again. You're going to see the same stuff. It doesn't add or subtract any evidence.
So from an epistemology standpoint, you think just cameras and whatever they gave us is the same or equal to actual people in the time that saw it?
I think we're
Sorry.
actually at a great advantage over the people at the time who saw it because we can pick over it frame by frame, which
They can't do that.
They didn't.
They can't do that now.
They could not do it at the time.
But they can't do it now.
They can do it now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so they have
It's
that
a level
experience of
playing
actually being there, and they can pick it over. So
What do you
we
mean
have
being
more
there?
advantage.
Being
Well
where?
done.
No,
But there's
being
no one
where?
there at the
What,
time,
in front
Tim.
of their TV?
No one watched the moon landing with their own eyes. So what we have now
What are
and
you,
what
yeah,
they
what are you
had then
talking
is
about
the same.
being there? What do you even mean by that? That's bizarre.
So do you
That's
know how many eyewitness accounts of them actually seeing it? Like,
Hey, Haunted, is
but
that really
I don't
you?
know if it was separation.
Is that you, Jonathan? Hello.
No, I don't know how many. How many eyewitness accounts?
Hi, Jonathan. Good to have you.
Hey,
Have you ever seen?
Have
Have you ever seen Gem Panda's documentary?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's really good. Actually.
Okay. Good,
Yeah.
Nathan. Thank you, Riley. I appreciate that. Yeah, he
Garbage.
put
Garbage.
together,
It's
a
cartoons.
good piece of evidence.
No,
Yeah,
he
I
put
would-
together
So
footage
but you're on the
that
fence.
nobody's
You're on the
talking
fence
about.
about the moon landing. Is
They
that,
just
is
put
that what I
together
can take
footage
from
that-
this? Is that
the
the
same
just
footage.
explain how you are. If you're on the fence and you're going, there's more evidence for the moon landing clearly than against the
Than
moon
not.
landing. Okay,
Yes.
but see, here's the problem. with that statement. What you can do with that statement is say, okay, everything the flat earthers are saying about the moon landing, we're going to put that in one basket and call it minuscule. And everything
There's moon
NASA
hoaxers.
said,
There's moon hoaxers
and
too,
okay, well, they're pretty much in the flat earth
like Bart
community.
Sabrell and all those clowns that make
No, I was a
total
moon
propaganda
hoaxer
pieces.
I was a moon
Are
hoaxer for
you
years.
are you
before
saying
that.
are you saying that there's people out there nowadays that are moon hoaxers that are not flat earthers?
Absolutely,
yeah,
more. Yeah,
There's
more.
there's more moon hoaxers who are
Wow,
not
I'd love to meet them, but okay.
Hey, dude, I hate to break it to you, but there are only a few thousand flat earthers that watch this stuff. Okay, I'm sorry to break it to you,
Okay.
but that is the truth. Some people like to say there's
Actually,
millions
no,
and it's
there's
growing, and
No,
We're just
Well,
way ahead. We're
can
way
I
don't
say?
know that.
Hang on.
don't know that.
Richie from Boston is a huge flat earther, and he's got a following of over 100,000 people.
Richie
so
from
what is that
Boston,
supposed to mean?
he's an
Every
idiot.
single person that's a subscriber to him is a flat earther? I mean, where's your
I
logic,
highly
dude?
doubt that. No, I highly doubt that. What I'm saying is that he's a huge flat earther. But regardless of that,
He's a
what I
total
wanted to
conspirator.
Yeah, he's a complete.
Total conspirator.
Maybe,
It seems like that's the growing trend right now.
wanted to
The people
Unless
who believe
he's
in sun
right,
simulators
you know?
and all this other crap.
unfairly
People got to get a hold of their own
unfairly
judgment.
judging the moon landing. That's all I'm saying, because there's things that you cannot dispute, and you're going to put those in the minuscule pile. And then there's things that NASA wants to bestow its honor on, and those you're going to put in the humongous pile. So
If there's one single piece of evidence going against the moon landing, to me, it would call into question it heavily. But there isn't anything. Things like
No,
a
so you
funny
think
thing
that
happened
rocket-
on the way to the moon.
wait.
Hold
that when they
on.
launch back into orbit,
Can I take
One at a
can I
time.
take a
Hey,
crack at that?
whatever your name is, that was not talking
Mark.
before the religious guy. What I listened to you yesterday. Pretty much everything that you were saying was just false. Okay, like
No.
it's one thing. It's one thing to have a new narrative to the mainstream narrative, but like when you pretend like you know the mainstream narrative and you're just completely wrong, you're wrong on the offset, bro. Completely wrong.
What are you talking about specifically?
Oh my god, I'll have to troll through all that crap you were.
Well, yeah, because you're just talking shit.
Tim,
You're
You
not gonna come
obviously
up
No
don't know
cussing.
what you're actually talking
number
about here, Tim.
one,
You just
religion's
scroll
got
through
nothing
it
to do
again,
with
then
it.
you
Why?
obviously don't
No.
remember what you're actually
Your
talking
dogma
about.
is silly, Billy.
What
My
dogma?
dogma
I don't.
silly.
I
Listen, I respect, try to get along with everybody, and you can believe or disbelieve or anything you want to do. That's entirely your opinion, and I should be entitled to my beliefs and my understandings of things, and we could mutually discuss things and be respectful from one another without attacking each other.
This is me respectful.
My dog.
Hi, my name is
Okay.
Timothy Ossman. This is me being respectful.
I understand.
It's when anybody pushes it on someone else, that's when it becomes an issue for me.
I mean,
Oh, he's not pushing
Yeah.
it. He's just.
And that's
I'm
when a
not
lot of these
pushing anything.
conspiracies
He's
fall
not
apart.
declaring it to be scientifically proven or anything like you guys are constantly doing.
I didn't say
Yeah.
he was pushing anything. I'm just saying, in
Actually,
general,
scientifically
it's when he pushes
proven. I
for
think you've
belief.
been told several times that science doesn't prove things, Arwen.
I
I think you've been told that several
there,
times.
Hey,
Okay,
Nathan.
so then,
Hey,
why
Nathan,
should
So
why
water
why do you
doesn't
believe that
boil
the
at
Earth is
100
a
degrees?
globe?
Hey, Nathan.
I know that the Earth is a globe.
Yeah.
explanation
You know.
How do you
Brenda
know? How do you know?
was trying to
Because I have a
arrive at.
justified belief
Tim, are you
in
claiming
that
Okay.
it is a
that
globe.
water doesn't
That's not the
Hold
same
on.
Can
as
I
water.
ask him
Hold
one
on,
question?
hold on.
Hang
You've
on.
asked him a direct question.
One question
and-
about
hold
the moon
on,
landing.
We're getting
hold
into
on.
philosophy now.
I just want to hear
No,
his
one
answer.
question.
But you brought it there. You took it there.
Hang on. One question about the moon landing. Here's the problem. If a man on the moon weighs about 100 pounds, let's say, with all his gear, let's not get into the math. Let's just say about 100 pounds. And he was able to displace whatever you want to call it, sand, dust on the moon, and create his own footprint, which apparently on this earth, dry sand does not create one. But let's go with the fact that the moon dust is different than the sand on the earth. Let's go with that. But let's go with the fact that the moon rover drove around the moon and kicked up whatever the
Get
hell
on with it.
is.
Yeah, get on
Okay.
with it.
then how come a 10,000-pound rocket engine didn't even move a pebble?
Did a 10,000-pound rocket engine land on the moon?
He's
Is that
referring
what
to
you're
the rooster
saying?
tail.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying a
what-
10,000-pound
it.
rocket engine that was attached to the freaking Eagle.
So that rocket engine landed on the moon. Is that what you're telling me right now?
He's referring to the rooster
See,
tail.
this is called argument from incredulity, right? An argument from ignorance.
No, he's saying
you
why
have
didn't it kick
absolutely
up dust?
no clue what you're talking about.
Him, he's not
I'm
saying that.
the
He's saying why didn't it kick up
10,000-pound
dust?
rocket engine. I'm saying that
He's
the 10,000
saying where's the
pound
blast?
rocket
Where's the blast
was
print? Is what he's asking. Is where's the
Where's
blast?
Well,
the-
first of
print
all,
from the
it came
rocket?
down, right? It came down and approached the moon. And so when it did that, it probably kicked up a lot of the sand that was there, right? Until the
Okay.
I mean, does that make
So
sense?
where's the
Kinda?
hole?
The argument
hole
is
it
this.
landed?
No,
They say
wait.
the
It kicked
tires
it up.
spinning.
It kicked
The
up
tires
the
spinning
sand.
up,
Where's the
spinning
sand?
up the regolith, which is what they call this, the surface of the moon, should have flown out into, I don't know, 20, 30 feet up in the air in like a radial pattern, according to the gravity, because it was a lot lighter.
And taking a lot longer to fall down too.
Yeah,
But
that's the argument made. It's definitely strange and doesn't make any sense. But then again,
It should,
none of the
the
footage
dust
makes
should
any
settle
sense.
at 1/6 at 1/6 the
1/6.
speed that it would on Earth. But the thing is, where's the evidence that any dust got kicked up, Tim? I mean, I think the thing is that I'm just glad if you are willing to say that you believe in the moon landing, then that's perfect because it's
I
just.
never said that, did I?
Yes,
Well,
you did.
it depends on if you're.
No, I
It
didn't.
depends on if somebody
Okay,
cares
well, I like
whether or
it.
not they want to
No,
figure
you're
it out.
strawmanning me.
Wow.
You're strawmanning me.
Oh, okay. Well, I like
you
I don't
call
know. How about that
people
answer?
didn't
Fence
believe
sitting
the
as
moon
well.
landing
No.
conspiracy
That's nice.
I
theorists.
don't know.
So that's
Is
kind of a-
actually
that-
perfectly valid answer.
Yeah, it is. But I like that.
Just in
I like-
case
I like
anybody
that you
wants to
say
know,
that, Tim.
check out the work of James Collier. He did a documentary about 45 minutes called "Is the Moon a Paper Moon?" Came out in 96, 97, and died shortly thereafter, like a year later. But he went and checked out all the spacesuits. He went down to the museum, took measurements. His contention was that they couldn't fit out of the LEM, that the LEM opening was too small for them to get out with their
Yeah, and all that
spacesuits
stuff
on.
they had in the LEM is pretty suspicious. But if anyone wants anything from the Bonneville Salt Flats, hit me up,
So there's no proof
ketalogic17@gmail.com.
Tim, are you?
Let me know. I'm going to head out there.
Are you
Some quarter-mile
retracting that?
times.
Are you retracting your statement that there's really no proof at all?
I didn't even say
That
that,
it
so
was
you're
fake.
freaking
Yeah,
idiot,
you
dude.
did.
No,
You
no,
said
no,
there
you
was
You're a
said
freaking
no
idiot. Why don't you
proof
open your
whatsoever.
ears, your little wood elf
Wait, you
ears,
said
and
what-
listen. Thank
Yeah,
you
that's
so
really
much.
nice,
Have a
but
good one.
people can actually scroll back in the Hangout
No,
and
he said
literally
he
say
said
that.
he's not aware of one.
Hey, Nathan,
It's not like he didn't know.
Hello.
He just wasn't aware.
I
Thanks
just
for
wanted
being here,
to say that the argument
Wood
Brenda
elf.
was bringing to the table was, where's the definitive proof of gravity? And they say that there isn't one, but that's not how science works. And what she was trying to explain was that you need to demonstrate in order to explain it, which isn't really science. In other words, you can't explain gravity; you can only demonstrate it.
Well, yeah, and also a helium, a mass amount of helium, mass which has
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That
If I
will-
was gonna
that will-
explain gravity, I would say I would say that it's, or at least I would make up that it's some kind of intelligent force, like a smart force.
No, come on.
But I wouldn't say
But the presence
does
of
what
the
it does.
effect.
Well, the
Actually,
thing
Neil
is-
deGrasse
gravity
Tyson went in
can
the
be-
direction of trying to say that it's a smart
Let's not
force
jump
because
too far.
there is
it
a
can
evidence
sort
of
of
it
be
saying
proven. It's just
If
not
you
that you
filled
don't
the-
just
if
have.
you
The
filled the
thing is, you don't have
basketball,
any
for
proof
example.
as to what causes this, and all the assumptions
Right.
that say that you know what causes this are all theoretical and totally unproven, except for your Cavendish experiment and all
he
that
said
nonsense.
They don't know much about it.
Orbits of
There's a-
Mercury and all that.
The
crap.
one true
Doesn't
force in the
know much
universe
about
is electricity. That's for sure. And there's
No,
a book
but
on
the
this
effect-
called
I'm
"Gravity's
not-
a Myth" by
I'm not
Robert
saying
O'Tay.
that you know what causes it.
Very good book.
But the effect can definitely be measured out and proven through
The acceleration.
What we're dealing with is
gravity-less
weight.
plane, basically.
It's
like
just
the
another
diving
word for
plane.
buoyancy.
That
What we're
if
dealing
you
with is
go at a certain
acceleration.
speed, then the effects of gravity will
Why
negate
can't we
and
call it
also
buoyancy?
causing the effect
Dialect-
One at a time,
buoyancy
guys.
and
One at a
density
time.
Well,
to act differently.
The observed
Once-
phenomenon is acceleration, not weight.
Acceleration.
Yeah.
No.
Well, a thing
that's
that's
not
free
true.
falling, you can't weigh a free falling object. So the weight is, once it's hit the
Actually,
ground,
you can.
it's still,
Hang on. You can weigh a free falling object.
how?
At any given point, you can figure out exactly how many newtons it has absorbed, and you can figure out, should it hit a dead stop at that point, how many newtons it's going to transfer.
Yeah, but you
can
can't. I'm
count
just
that.
saying you can't actively weigh it in when it's in free fall.
Exactly.
You may be able to
that's-
calculate.
You can
you might be able to
theorize what it's
calculate.
supposed
What you're talking
to
about is you
weigh.
can calculate the force at which it will hit whatever it's falling toward. But I'm just saying that
Well, that's how
Well,
much
when I
force is
falling
in
object
it. I
is
mean,
weightless.
The
I mean,
center
think
of
about it.
gravity
I mean,
is where the weight
So
is.
I'm just
think
saying
about
that
it.
gravity is what the observed phenomenon is: acceleration in a direction, not
it's
weight.
it's really a term that doesn't really have a place anywhere, but it's been stuck into science. It's really an unnecessary word. It's a non sequitur.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the word gravity. I think that we got to break it down to what we can. We should talk about it in terms of what we can tangibly observe only.
Like they don't call water displacement gravity. They call
Right.
it water displacement.
Yeah.
Things could be called air displacement too. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Or acceleration.
Yeah, but look, you
Yeah,
guys
or
can
mass
call
density.
the most observed phenomena that we actually see, you can call that density and buoyancy. But as I just suggested, if you go in a certain in a diving plane, then the effect of gravity would basically be negated by that speed countering the gravity in exact equilibrium opposition, which would cause the density and buoyancy effect to start behaving differently. So there is proof of gravity, there's just no proof of gravitational pull. And that's
There's proof of directional a tendency towards acceleration in a specific direction.
and people call that gravity. But
Yeah.
then the assumption that is gravitational pull, that is grafted on, that is the falsehood, that is the scientism. But that
the
effect that you
falsehood
just
is the
described
assumption
is
that
called gravity.
the false assumption is that it's based on a generalized attraction between all masses. Whereas
Exactly. That is
we don't see
completely
this, we cannot
unprovable.
measure this general attraction between masses in any other direction.
Exactly, but you can definitely provide proof of the presence of the effect of gravity, of the constant, by negating it in perfect equilibrium
the gravity
through the
is
falling
defined as
effect
this
in the
general
plane.
attraction. So if we don't agree about the general attraction, then we shouldn't use this word gravity because it just
No. I believe
Gents,
that
could
the
I
word
just make a
gravity
quick public announcement,
precedes
please? Just
that.
a 2-second one. Manchester United have been beaten
Can't do that.
1-0 at home by West Bromwich Albion with a goal in the 73rd minute from Jay Rodriguez. Get in. Carry on.
Ooh, it's a soccer thingy.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
would say, if
I
anything,
think-
to say what gravity is it's the opposite of radiation.
But the
Okay.
whole
what do you
thing
mean
is
by that?
if
That's
the
what
Earth
it's
passed,
The whole
it's
thing
explained
about
as.
gravity is that it's been
Oh,
culturally
you mean 'cause it's a
assumed to
pulling
be
force?
exactly the same as gravitational pull.
So it's
But that is just a fault. It's a cultural assumption that has been normalized. Everybody, the general public, just automatically thinks gravity and then, oh yeah, gravitational pull, because that's been conditioned into them. Doesn't mean that gravity as a concept, as the physical constant that is part of physics, a law of physics, that is
like
not,
no constant.
that you can't call that gravity because we developed an allergy of that word because Globers constantly throw it at our heads
no.
as
No, 'cause-
gravitational pull.
No, because
short
it
for
refers to a
gravitational
theory about the attraction between all masses. So
No, but that
we
is
should toss
gravitational
out the
pull.
word because
is
that's its
gravitational
relevant
pull, that is
meaning
not
in the
gravity.
conversation. It's not just the acceleration in the downward direction. Like,
So if
because
you were going to use the word in a sentence, like, this is a nice guy, his people gravitate towards him.
well, that's a
What would you
metaphor.
use?
That's a metaphor, right?
Well,
That's
what would you use? What would you use to take gravity out of it? Take gravitate.
People are
That's my
attracted
whole
to
point.
him.
It's
Yeah,
been
but now,
culturally
what
assimilated
if
in
someone
many
takes you
ways.
literal on that? Now I'm thinking he's fatter than a goddamn hippo.
Giant
Well, it's not
object
really a
that's
very-
sucking people into it.
Size
Using
of the
it-
planet.
you know,
Yeah, but it's a
using
big
it as a
problem. metaphor
metaphor for something else isn't a good argument about the value of the word within the context of physics, right?
Well, I look at it like atheism. You know, the best atheism shouldn't even exist. Like the best atheist is the quietest one because he truly
pick a
doesn't
side,
believe
right?
anything.
Pick a
Yeah,
side.
'cause
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I
Atheists
would
just
say
don't believe in
an
God.
atheist shouldn't really know that he's an atheist because once he becomes an atheist, he's now saying that something doesn't exist, and that something has to exist because existence
even believing
An
takes into
in nothing
atheist just doesn't
consideration.
believe
in
God.
something,
That's
right?
literally the
Well, no,
meaning
is
of
that
the
what you're
word.
going
If you
to
don't
say?
believe anything,
existence
then you're
takes
an
into
agnostic.
consideration
That's something
Believing in
non-existent.
nothing is a belief, right? There you go. It's
Well,
either
something
way.
has to exist for it
Way of
to
explaining
not
it that way.
exist.
No, because it's not. You're talking about anti-theism rather than atheism. It's kind of like people.
No, that's what
Well,
atheist
if
stands
somebody
for.
truly, if something doesn't exist, right, the person would have no reason to say it doesn't exist.
That's not necessarily true.
Absolutely true. It's
They could
absolutely
have
true.
personal
'Cause
reasons.
No. Okay.
there's
Well, what about
something I
what about the
disbelieve.
globe? If I say the globe doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that it does. It's you know, like
Yes, it
that
does.
logic isn't going to hold up. No, it doesn't. I don't. I'm
The,
not.
the idea of it does.
Atheism is the.
So it does
the
exist
idea-
It's
in
a
some
religion of denying
Yeah,
that a god or creator exists, and could go in all kinds of directions, just as Christianity branches off in all kinds of philosophical directions. It's just a belief, but it's very specific because it's based
Yeah, but
on
to deny,
not believing
but you're
in
saying
God.
like to
That
deny
is the
something
only thing
exists
about
doesn't
it.
imply that
If you
it
don't believe in
exists.
anything, if you don't believe in anything, that's called an
I'm not saying
agnostic.
it implies, it implies, but it has to exist in the first place. Whether it's the
No,
idea,
it
the
doesn't.
concept, or itself in reality, it has to be addressed in order to say that it doesn't exist.
See, that's exactly
Like
what
if
you
someone
guys
had,
do with
if
gravity.
someone had never heard of something, okay, there's something that I don't believe in, and I couldn't tell you what it's called because I don't know, because it doesn't really exist. I would never even think
No.
about it. It wouldn't even be an idea in my head ever.
Yeah, but you're
That's what I'm
just
saying.
but that's just like conflating. Like it's just like removing the distinction between physics and metaphysics, which is not really useful when we're
Well, what is an atheist telling me that does?
You make a
what
good
is an
point.
atheist
If
telling me
nobody has
doesn't
ever
exist?
heard of the concept of God, then they could never be an
Exactly.
atheist.
That would be a
they're
true
saying
atheist. That would be a
God
true
doesn't
atheist.
exist as a-
No.
that there's
No.
there's no phenomenology of God, is what they're saying. There's no there kind of thing.
If the
Right, right.
concept was
What
completely
Arvin just said,
unfamiliar
they would never have the idea in their
with the
head to begin
concept
with.
of God
Yeah, but
whatsoever,
the
then you
fact
can't
that
be an
they've heard the
atheist.
concept doesn't give it any force of reality.
But once they start saying
Yes,
it
it
doesn't
does.
exist, then it has to be there in order for them to deny it.
No, it doesn't.
Exactly.
What are you
Yes, it
talking
does.
about? No, it doesn't.
If you have no frame of reference, then there is nothing.
So if I say Gorfrin Zazzle doesn't exist, does that mean Gorfrin Zazzle exists?
It does now.
No, it means you're
Okay, well, what is it?
a Garthen's Wrath.
I don't know.
What his name is.
Exactly. So it's just meaningless. It's pointless conversation, really. Like, but I don't think that I really don't. I think there's a very broken logic here when you say that to deny something's existence gives it a force of existence.
But when they're addressing something specific,
That's what I'm
because
saying.
when one person says, I believe in God, or I believe in
but
a
God
God,
isn't
and somebody
specific.
comes along and says that, no, that doesn't exist.
No, but God is Gorfrin
Who's to say?
Zazzle.
But who's to say it doesn't exist or it does exist?
Right. Yeah, but who's
At
to say
this-
Gorfrin
at this-
Zazzle doesn't exist? Me. I'm
Okay.
saying it.
What is it you're talking about?
God. It's the same thing, right? I mean, because
So don't I need
we're not referring to something that we can agree on.
don't we need an idea or a concept in order for me to agree with that?
Yeah, but how are we going to
And
know
therefore,
that we
therefore it
share
needs to exist.
Yeah, but how can we have any certainty that we share or have a common sense of that concept?
Well,
By
you
talking
explained what the
about
name
the
was to me.
subject, about
That's what you said
the content,
existed or
about
didn't
the
exist.
frame of reference.
Like
Yeah,
I
but at
said,
that point,
thing.
it's just a word. It has no reference.
No, it's an idea. It's a concept. I don't know what capacity it exists in, but it does exist. Definitely exists. Whereas, I don't see where an atheist comes from. Like, what's the point of atheism? To tell other people that things don't exist.
Well,
I
it's
think
just always it's just
to
something that's always bothered
philosophically
me.
oppose
atheism
the
is
church.
more political than metaphysical, like in terms of its motivations, where it's like people, I think a lot of people who are passionate atheists are people who grew up with having religious values pushed on them that they didn't agree with, and then they're actually trying to make a stand for their rights to not have to pander to somebody else's metaphysical belief system.
Well,
and so the
to
atheism
get more
is
into
a
that,
kind
Hello,
it started
Sly, how
out
you
as
doing? Good to have
a
you.
counter philosophy.
Sorry to get the panel's attention for a minute. So Sly has joined, and I don't want anybody to give him any grief for the next 5 minutes minimum while he tells us about his experiment that he's got planned. So please, can you give way to Sly temporarily?
Yeah, appreciate that. Real quick, I am performing a experiment. It's a group experiment. Anybody can participate. Flat earthers, globe earthers, doesn't matter. And it is an experiment where on the 19th of April, specifically on the 19th of April, in the morning, I'll just use UTC time, between 4:38 and 6, I think it's 13 in the morning. Anybody during that time who's in the Eastern Hemisphere, to just go out, take a short video clip of the sun from a public place, and then use a third-party clock like a clock tower or a bank clock or anything that you personally don't have control over. Just to be authentic. And then obviously verify the date. Use a newspaper or use a street sign. One of those electronic street signs or something. And then make that clip and send me the link to that clip. I'm going to use it in an experiment, and I need them by the 22nd, before the 22nd, actually.
Can you just go through
And
it one more?
I'm hoping to have everybody
again?
participate, especially those in the UK, because it's actually going to have an interesting result with the stuff from the UK.
Can you detail it one more time? Just go through it from start to finish, the whole thing.
Sure, no problem. 19th of April, this coming Thursday. Go out in the morning. Anybody in the Eastern Hemisphere, people in the Western Hemisphere are excluded because you're not going to be able to see the sun during this short little time period. And we're not looking for twilights or anything like that. We're looking for a direct shot of the sun. Yeah, okay, it could be through the clouds. It could be slightly obstructed. It's just a matter of being able to point out the azimuth of the sun between 4:38 and 6:13 UTC, Zulu time. And in that same clip, show a third-party clock, a public clock, and find some way to show us exactly what date that you made it. And then just post that video and send me the link to the video, and I'll include it in the experiment's results. I need as many people as possible. And however many we get, because this goes all the way from Western Africa all the way to Australia during this time period. So just hook it up on your UTC time to your local time zone time.
So you said the azimuth. Do you want to expand on that a bit?
Sure. Basically you just tell me where it was that you took the video, and then I'll verify it by the landmarks that you show in the actual video, and we'll just get a general azimuth. We don't need to go down to the millionths of a degree here, but just a general azimuth. Probably a whole number. And then we're going to compare a whole bunch of them together for a very specific reason, and there's a very specific reason why we're doing it on the 19th.
It'd be a globe proof, right?
Say again?
It'd be a globe proof, right?
Well, I don't know if this manner of detail would bring it to that, but it definitely is not going to work on a flat Earth, I'll say that.
Well, I would assume that. I mean, the coordinate system you're using is
What do you
a
have against
spherical
the flat
coordinate
Earth?
system, right? The azimuth would be in reference to a spherical system, so...
Well, I've seen plenty of videos where people have shown their interpretation of what azimuth works like on, for example, an AE map or a Mercator map, and that's fine. But
the azimuth is an angular measurement in a spherical coordinate system.
Excuse me?
It's using a spherical coordinate system.
Well, yeah, longitude and latitude were developed on a sphere,
Right.
but we're not really looking for longitude.
What did flat Earth ever do to you?
Excuse me?
What did flat Earth ever do to you?
I'm just not a fan of things that are being put out incorrectly. That's all.
Are you a fan of questioning things?
No, absolutely not.
Well, you're begging the question in this instance because the coordinate system that you're planning to use in your experiment already assumes you're on a sphere.
Why should we even bother doing this? Take it from your philosophy, we should just stand here and do nothing and follow whatever we're told.
I was hoping if he before this fella goes away, if he could send me all of the folks that contact him from South America and South Africa, because I just don't have the time or have figured out a way yet to contact people there. But I'm saying you look at it from two different spots like that at the night sky, you'll see completely two different night skies. And
from South Africa and South America?
Yeah, at the same time. That they claim this has been done, it's never been done. But the problem with your experiment is that you can take those measurements and depending which model you plug it into will display the model you are plugging it into. You plug the exact same numbers that you're going to get from the folks all around the world you're into a flat Earth model, it'll say that these coordinates came from a flat Earth. You take it, you stick it on a spinning ball. No, the moment you use longitude and latitude, you're accepting a globe.
I'm not using longitude or latitude.
Yeah, you are. You said you were going to take the azimuth.
Yeah, azimuth. That means compass direction.
Right, from a system of coordinates that is based on a sphere.
No, we can place the azimuths on any model and
wait. Can you put them on a flat Earth model? Can you put all those? Can you put everything you get? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to say this is what I got, doing it the way I thought I was going to do it, and then I gave it to a friend in the flat Earth community?
Hold on.
Pretty clear.
There is no flat Earth model.
And he took all this stuff and he pinned it into a flat Earth model. I don't know
what flat Earth model. There is no flat Earth model. Even the A projection is based on a sphere. They're all based on a sphere. There is no A model to plug this into. Even if you plugged it into the A projection,
well, there's a few.
You're still plugging it into the same system.
I'm pretty sure if you plug it in that way.
Into what?
Hey, Sly, what would you do without all the attention you get from being a globe earther in a flat Earth world?
Oh, I'd be doing other things, of course.
Would you?
Oh yeah.
I
have a couple of channels actually.
Hey John, how you doing?
It's convenient to go against what a lot of people are talking about.
I
think that's what fuels where you're coming from.
If you guys could just give me one more second, I just had one more little.
I want to respond to your question.
I wanted to add.
I have a question, please.
Sure.
Go ahead.
He said please.
Yeah, go ahead with the question. That was polite. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well the question that he said, or at least the comment that he made, is that if I plugged it into any model, I can make it to provide proof of that model. And the thing is that anybody who's watched my videos, yes, of course, I am a globe earther. However, I enjoy questioning things. Okay, and I don't just question them. However, I actually apply them to the models that are being presented. Okay, I don't just apply it to a globe. Just about every experiment I've done, I've applied it to a flat model, whatever whatever the flat model of that moment was.
Which one? Do you want to show me which one you used? Which one?
Oh, well, I've done things on the AE map. I've done things just on a horizontal plane.
That's not based on. That's a spherical projection. It's an azimuthal equidistant projection, right? But that's based on a sphere.
Should the flat earthers just shut up and go away? Is that what you'd hope for?
So
actually,
I still haven't got my answer. Sorry, what flat Earth model did you use, Sly?
Excuse me?
What? You still haven't answered me. You said A projection, so that's not a flat Earth model. So what flat Earth model did you use?
Well, then please correct me. What is the flat Earth model?
You told me.
There is no flat Earth model.
Did you not hear what I said? I said, show me the flat Earth model you used. Now you're telling me to provide you with the one you used. Are you a retard? Do you not understand the question, Sly? You show me the flat Earth model you use.
Can I say what's up to John?
Nathan.
Quantum Eraser.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man. How you doing, dude? I remember you
I didn't want to interrupt.
Hangouts
I wanted to ask Sly a question, but Nathan's first.
Well,
Go ahead,
let me address Nathan's question first, please.
Fine.
Okay. because he gets real mad when we don't answer. And what do you call it? The short end of it is, I apply it to the models that I see presented by flat earthers, whether it's the AE map, the Mercator map, the Globebuster cylindrical projection map. If you have one that's different than those, because you're saying that those are wrong, then please provide it to me and I will apply it to that map.
What are they projections
Apply
of?
it to the rectangular map.
What are they projections of?
Excuse me?
What are they projections of?
You'd have to be a little bit more detailed on that question. Obviously, they're of the Earth, but it's just a different somebody
And
else's interpretation.
What shape Earth do they presuppose? Just out of interest.
As far as I'm aware, everybody that I've shown, other than the globe, is projecting a flat Earth map, but just in a different style.
So they're projecting.
No, some folks have pairs.
Sorry, so they're projecting a sphere. So when I said it presupposes a sphere, I was absolutely correct, and you haven't applied it to any flat Earth models. Your get out was to say that you presented it on what presumably incorrect, ignorant flat Earthers told you were flat Earth models, and you just decided that that would be okay to apply,
well,
right?
I'm agreeing with you, and I just agreed with you a second ago. So give me one that you agree with.
No, don't assert that you've tested it on flat Earth models.
Well, don't assert that I know every model that's out there.
There
you
are
don't
no
have
models.
any.
Models are pseudoscience. I have my question now, please.
Go ahead.
You said you had an experiment?
Yeah.
What's the hypothesis?
What do you mean, what's the hypothesis?
Well, an experiment is a hypothesis test.
Yeah.
So you have to have an hypothesis before you have the experiment, right?
Right.
So here, share his screen and let him write down what phenomena he observed, the alternative hypothesis,
Wait a minute.
the
What
independent
phenomena I
dependent
observed?
variable, and the null hypothesis for us, please.
Hold on a second. You're talking about something that's happening in the future. I can't exactly show you what the observation was.
Okay, that's fair enough, but you're
No, that's it.
What's this?
No.
I've never seen it.
Before you have an experiment, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a hypothesis.
Okay.
An experiment is a hypothesis test.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow that? So
yeah.
what's your alternative hypothesis? Independent variable, dependent variable, and your null hypothesis.
Well, I will know that once I have the results.
You can't. Oh my goodness gracious, sir! You can't do an experiment before you have the hypothesis.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
That's correct. An experiment is a hypothesis test. To test the hypothesis, you have to have the hypothesis first.
Interesting.
Isn't it? Scientific method is pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, what if I told you that I'm going to compare this to an observation that happens every year?
I don't care what you compare it to. I want to see the alternative hypothesis, the independent variable, dependent variable, and the null hypothesis. Then we'll see the experiment.
Quantum.
Don't tell me what. Tell me what I just asked you.
No, I'm going to tell you the answer that you're going to have. Okay. This is the answer you're going to have.
Tails.
No, it's not. If it was chasing your tail, then I wouldn't be asking for results. I would be just giving them. Correct.
You can't get results without a hypothesis.
Right. And I'm going to be comparing this to a known observation.
So you're going to do, but that's not a hypothesis.
Oh, yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Let's hear it. Hold on, John.
No.
So let's hear. He's asked you, now I'm asking you, Sly. So if you've got a hypothesis, let's hear it. The cause and effect relationship, the if and then, the independent and the dependent variables. Can we hear those, please?
When I produce the video, sure.
No. We need to hear those before you do the experiment, because an experiment is a hypothesis test. Are you deaf as well, like Brenda? Did you not hear what was just said to you?
Nathan, check it out, man.
I asked you a question. Are you deaf? Are you deaf, Sly? It's just been explained to you.
Okay, yeah? I've heard your question. Did you produce a direct hypothesis about your satellite dishes?
A direct hypothesis, my word.
As opposed to an indirect hypothesis?
No, direct meaning concise. Excuse me.
Okay, so are you saying that an experiment is not the test of a hypothesis? Is that your position?
No, I didn't say that at all.
Excellent. So let's hear your hypothesis,
let's hear your
please.
hypothesis then, yeah.
Why? So you can just nut on it?
No,
we haven't heard it yet.
So we can write it down. We're going to write it down.
What if I told you I'm going to be comparing, okay, the observations of however many people participate, with an observation that is widely used, honestly, by flat earthers, and believed to be 100% fact and true by flat earthers, as well as globe earthers.
No, you can't speak to all flat earthers. How do you know what I believe?
Actually, Eraser, I can, because you got
What
everything else.
What does anyone's beliefs have to do with your experiment?
Right, we've got it. It's all right. We've got a few minutes left. Sly, try to pay attention. Sly, try to open your ears, close your mouth, and open your ears. Right, an experiment is a hypothesis test. You are saying that you want people to help you in your experiment. Before they do so, and before I can put my stamp of approval on your experiment, we must first here try to shut your mouth and open your ears. We must first hear your hypothesis. So, hold on, Sly. I know you're very eager. I know you've already got to the experiment stage before presenting your hypothesis. So try and open your ears and listen. We need, for a hypothesis, an independent and a dependent variable. Can you tell us what those are, please, sir?
Sure, when I make the video.
No, that would be after you've done your experiment.
So you're not going to participate?
Before, Sly, try to listen closely. I'll speak slower. Before,
Nathan,
try to listen. I'll speak very slowly for slow sparkane. You need your hypothesis before your experiment.
Yeah.
So can we have it, please?
Well, this is the resistance I was expecting from flat earthers anyway. You all have no
don't
stake.
understand
Not resistance, an adherence to the scientific method.
Yeah, goodbye.
I think
did he
that's a
drop?
concession.
Let's just clear this up. Let's just get it clear for the audience. Sly has just rage quit. Goodbye, Sly. Good to have you, you coward. Let's just make it clear for the audience. That was a rage quit,
wasn't it? You know, with a name like that.
Do not participate with Sly. He is not adhering to the scientific method. He is a retard. Pretend a clown, and you will be wasting your time.
That's exactly what I tried to state earlier, Nathan, is that when someone doesn't know something, you can't tell them. And in that respect is they have to find out for themselves. That's what I was trying to get at. And once you learn it for yourself, then you will know. Because people aren't listening. For example, you brought up Wikipedia, up and down and hypothesis and stuff. And we're just asking to follow what the method of interpretation of a hypothesis is, observed phenomena with a repeatable, testable experiment with a independent variable and a variable, and they just couldn't comprehend that. So we can't even agree on what a hypothesis is, for example. So we can't agree on.
People just won't be honest with themselves.
Right. So something they have to learn
there
because they're not listening to us or any individual whatsoever, which questions their ideology, and that's what it is. It's just it's hard.
Have you noticed the government? Have you noticed governments all over the world have replaced the word honesty with transparency?
Right.
And that's the word that they use now for we need to be more transparent.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to all of the debating panel for joining and making this debate possible. And also a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and sharing this debate. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!